Hello everybody, Ben Woodruff here with the Hutchings Museum in Lehi, Utah. Today's video, I'm going to be talking about rocks, and we're going to talk about rocks that break the rules. So I'm going to teach you about some different rocks, and then we're going to go out in the field and see some of the most colorful, vibrant, insane, rule-breaking rock formations you will ever see. So we got to have a baseline to start with. Let's just talk about the quote-unquote boring rocks, right? So normally if you're in elementary school and you're learning about rocks, normally they teach you about three main rocks. The first is igneous rocks. Igneous rocks are formed volcanically. They might be formed above ground, they might be formed below ground, but they're formed by molten magma. Now, when magma comes to the surface, it's lava, but lava and magma are the same thing. Just one's above ground, one's below ground. So whatever happens, there's some sort of molten rock that cools down. It may cool down quickly, it may cool down slowly, and based off of how fast it cools down and what mineral content it has, will determine what kind of rock it is and what kind of shape it has. But that's igneous rock, pretty basic. All rocks originally started off as igneous. The next rock is sedimentary rock. Sedimentary rock is just layers being built up over time. So a lot of sandstone is something we see a lot of times, but there's many different kinds. There's oceanic limestone that can be built up in sedimentary layers. So eons of time go by, and whatever thing, wind deposition, water deposition, could be many different things, but it builds up, and usually it will show those layers. This is typically the type of rock that we find fossils in. Fossils are rare. I mean, they're not rare to find, but what I'm saying is it's rare for a life form of any kind to get fossilized. But it does happen by the trillions, and so we do have fossils all over the world. But what I'm saying is the number of animals that get fossilized versus the number of the decompose and never get fossilized is astronomical. But there's just been so much life on Earth that even though the odds are something will not get fossilized, we still have seemingly limitless fossils all over the world. So we look in sedimentary layers to find fossils, be it a fossil shell, be it a fossil leaf, be it a trilobite, be it a dinosaur. So that's sedimentary rock. The last rock can be kind of confusing, and it is metamorphic rock. Metamorphic means to change from one thing to another, to metamorph. And so when I was a kid, I was taught metamorphic rock. It's one rock, and then it undergoes heat and pressure, and it becomes a new rock. Well, okay, great. Well, as a kid, my little brain thought that meant lava. It melted because heat and pressure. It could be friction. It could be fault lines of the earth rubbing against each other, making such friction that it melts the rock. Well, it turns out metamorphic rock does not melt completely. If a rock melts and becomes lava or magma again, when it cools off, it will be a brand new igneous rock. So metamorphic rock undergoes enough heat and pressure, friction, tectonic plates moving under the earth, that it becomes as soft as like Play-Doh. But it's not lava. It becomes squishy and smushy. And that allows, on the molecular level, atoms to reorganize in a way that is denser. So usually metamorphic rock goes from being one rock type to another, and it becomes denser and denser and denser. So things like marble, for example, marble I think starts off as quartzite and then becomes marble through metamorphic processes. So anyways, that's your baseline. These are your three basic types of rocks and minerals. But there's many that never get talked about in elementary school, and there are all kinds of rule-breaking rocks. So for example, one of them are cave formations. Now, cave formations, we have a lot on display here at the Hutchings Museum from Timpanogos Cave. Cave formations are made out of calcium carbonate that dissolved out of limestone, and then when they reach the cave itself, they formed formations. Now, it might just be simple drip, 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 and a mineral builds up, which you could argue is a type of sedimentary rock. But some of these cave formations grow in wild directions and spin all over the place. Some of them even have, they're called speleotherms, that have microbes living inside that they're depositing That is a type of calcium carbonate deposition, almost like stromatolites in the ocean. And so they'll grow in these really cool wild spirals. So technically you got a life form inside that's growing them in that way, but it's still technically a rock. So cave formations are wild, and they can come in a wide range of shapes and forms. Some of them are deposited in sedimentary layers, but it's not truly a sedimentary rock. It's a calcium carbonate deposition. Now, another version of calcium carbonate deposition is tufa. So tufa happens typically if you have like a lake, typically a freshwater lake. It's just water, right? But if you have capillary action, if you have a freshwater spring underneath, under pressure, and it's bubbling up under pressure into the lake, this can happen in rivers as well, then that capillary action has picked up minerals from underneath. A lot of the times these are hot springs bubbling up, and they're depositing in layers and layers, spreading out, branching in a way that very much wrongly resembles coral. And again, it's a beautiful formation, and it's not forming in sedimentary layers because it's growing up and outward. There's all kinds of pinnacles around the world made out of these, but it's really cool when it grows in a coral-like formation. So it is rock and mineral, right? It's calcium carbonate, no different than a cave formation, but it's grown in a very unusual fashion. And I don't think it's accurate to call this a sedimentary rock. Now, the last rule-breaking rock is what this whole video is about, and that is Geyserite. Geyserite can look very boring or look very exciting. Normally, it is formed out of hot geysers, but we're going to go see a cold geyser in a minute on this video. We're going to go see it in person. So geysers, so if you have under the surface, if you have lava or magma, well, it's underground, so it's magma trapped beneath the surface, then it's down here, and water up here starts to get heated up by it. The lava is not hitting the water, but it's still heating up the water. Even though it's not touching, it's heating it up. And so that water, when water heats, it expands, and it makes steam, and expands, and it finds cracks in the rock, and eventually it explodes out. Now, if you have a water source coming in, then that'll happen on a regular basis. Of course, the most famous place on Earth to see geysers is in Yellowstone National Park. And there's some like Old Faithful that erupt on a fairly regular interval. And it's about the water getting down in there, heating it up at a specific rate, and then erupting. So geysers can form from hot water heating up, but they can also form from cold water, which is very strange. So we have Geyserite here at the museum that is from hot water geysers, like at Yellowstone, but we're going to talk about cold water geysers now. So remember, a geyser is supposed to be heated water, but what is actually happening? The water, it's not that it's hot, it's that the water is expanding. And it's expanding because of heat. Well, cold water geysers, the water is expanding for a different reason. Now, that may seem counterintuitive, because why would water expand if it's not hot, if it's cold? Well, if it has other chemicals present, such as soda. So carbon dioxide gas will expand. If you're unfamiliar with it, think again. If you ever open up a can of soda pop, it sprays out, fizzes, it bubbles. So the gases, the carbon dioxide gases in your soda pop are compressed down. And when you open up the can, it releases and it fizzes a little bit. Well, there are a few places in the world, such as in Green River, Utah, where we have cold water geysers. And at these sites you have where water, underwater, has hit a pocket of CO2 gas, and that builds and mixes with the water, and if it has a hole, an opening, it will expand and it will explode out, and it looks all the world like you're in Yellowstone, but it's cold, it's crystal cold water, and it's soda pop water. It's literally, it's not sweet, but it is soda pop water. It's pretty incredible. Now, I'm going to go take you to a geyser to see. Now, while I'm here, this geyser did not erupt, but that's not why I'm there. I want you to see the geology. I want you to see the elaborate travertine ridges, which are a type of Geyserite. So this is a piece of Geyserite from Yellowstone. And if we looked at it under a microscope, you'd see some amazing layers of capillary action just seeping through, getting to the surface of those hot steam. But this geyser we're going to go see, it's laid out again. It's erupted by soda pop, and then as it opens up, it takes all these minerals from deep in the earth and it deposits them in beautiful concentric travertine ridges. So we're going to go take a look at these up close. And now this is an interesting site. This geyser doesn't erupt in a normal way. So what happened was, millions of years ago, this was an erupting geyser, and it deposited so much calcium carbonate that it plugged itself up. And then in the in the early 1900s, let's back it up. The Powell expedition in the 1800s went past this geyser going down the Green River. It wasn't erupting, but they noticed all the travertine ridges and they said, oh, it looks like in some ancient time there must have been a geyser here. Well, in the early 1900s, a miner drilled a hole straight down in it looking for oil, and he hit the layer of soda, and it started erupting. And now it erupts usually twice a day, but it's cold water coming out. So some people say, well, it's not a real geyser, it's man-made. No, it's a real geyser. It just got reopened by humans, but it was opened in ancient times, and now it's reopened now. So we're going to go ahead and take a drive. We're going to go out here by Green River, Utah. This is a stark, desolate area. It's the white desert of central Utah, and we're going to go out to this site itself. Now, there's all kinds of minerals in the area that you can see in these rock formations, but we're going to go to the site of the geyser itself and see these incredible travertine ridges, which again are a form of cold water geyserite.
So you can see from here, this landscape, it's pretty harsh. It's pretty tan, dry. And then you have the green along the river, right? And I'm gonna go up and show in just a sec. Okay, and then you got, a little bit of red rock here. But what's really amazing is then, blam, you have this rich color from these glorious minerals that bubbled up from underground. We're gonna go see this up close, but we're also gonna get some drone shots. But again, this stands out so starkly compared to everything else. It's pretty incredible. Just like Yellowstone. God, just seeing those ridges, so cool. Such an array of color. Now these ridges right here, if you were to open these up, these form exactly like Geyserite, and you can just see the layers built up. I'm gonna try. You know what? I'm gonna put some pictures of Geyserite. I've got a couple pieces of Geyserite, which is pretty rare to have. But this is cold water Geyserite instead of warm water Geyserite. Again, look at these bands. Look at these ridges. Just think about all the different minerals in here, bubbling up from the earth. All right, we gotta go see this. Okay, so this is kind of interesting. You remember how I said these places are like a vector between the realm of the living and the realm of the dead, right? Well, let's look over here, and you can see this white, where the plants cannot properly grow and photosynthesize. I hope you can see that, the bottom of the plants. You can kind of see that here too on these plants, these crusts of minerals coming up from underground, and they cannot properly grow down by the bottom, only the upper surfaces. So again, where you touch the balance between the realm of life and death, different things happen. God, look at these colors. It's so intense. You can smell the sulfur, which I was assuming that most of this would have been iron oxides coming up from the surface, but you can smell the sulfur that has come up. This is just like Yellowstone. It smells like Yellowstone. This looks like if I stepped in it, it would burn me to death. It literally does. This literally looks like you're in Yellowstone, and it smells like you were in Yellowstone. Now this pipe over here, we're gonna go to, this is the geyser itself. When it goes off, you can't see that pipe, but that was just where it was drilled, and that's where it erupts from. Maybe we'll get lucky and we'll see it erupt, probably not. I'll try to put some photos and videos of other times, but really what I wanted to see is the travertine ridges, but especially if you look right here, this I'm really freaking out about, and I don't think anybody has ever done a study on this. Right here, you can see there's sort of a film over these little pools. It looks to me like there are cyanobacteria in there. Now, I've done a lot of videos talking about cyanobacteria both in cryptobiotic sand and in stromatolites. But cyanobacteria is an extremophile. It's a life form that lives under very extreme environments. And Yellowstone is one of the only places in the world where you also find a range of brightly colorful cyanobacteria. And from here, I don't know if you can see it, but I see that telltale red and that film left up above. And it looks to me like there's photosynthesis going on from cyanobacteria. So we're gonna get some drone shots of this, but I want you to just, these patterns are so beautiful. These humans love patterns, and these concentric colors and patterns are just absolutely breathtaking. It's so beautiful. This is going to be insane when we get shots from the drone. What's kind of unnerving, I just went and checked this sign. I wanted to be sure. You can walk on this, but try not to walk on anything that has a ridge. But there's all these cobbles, but it's kind of unnerving. You probably can't hear it, but you can hear that it's hollow underneath. You can hear that it's got a honeycomb pattern when you walk on this. It just looks like it's on another planet. Look at all these cobbles that have come up. Here's where the water comes up. Let's go take a look at that. Oh, it's foaming. It's bubbling. Hope you can hear that. I'm gonna put my microphone and take my mic off and put it down. Don't fall in. Hopefully you can hear that fizzing. It sounds like you just opened a can of soda pop, because that's literally what it is. This water is cold. This is pleasantly cold. But I'm noticing, if you see, there is like a, that's a different type. That's a cyanobacteria. If you see, it's like a webbing, some sort of webbing. So the cyanobacteria in there is forming a structure. And it's very similar to the prehistoric algal mats, the ancient, yeah, it's all along here. I'm gonna be careful, I don't wanna step on any of it. It's a delicate ecosystem. I've never heard anybody talk about this. I just heard that it was just a geyser, but these, I mean, I guess technically these webs would be a type of stromatolite. They're not laying down calcium. Oh, so in caves, there is a type of extremophile that feeds off of sorry, I'm just so excited about this. It feeds off of chemicals instead of biological matter, and they're an extremophile, but they're instead of being photosynthetic, they're chemosynthetic, and they have the glorious name snotites because they look like snot. They form in caves like Luchagea Cave in New Mexico, but it looks exactly like these. And I wonder if that's what these are. Technically, a type of snotite. But so maybe they're not a type of stromatolite, but maybe they're a type of snotite. But good heavens, look at this color. These colors are so rich. If you look here, this is a prehistoric piece. I know I'm using that term loosely, but again, you have all the different types of cave formations. That over there, very similar to cave popcorn. These are basically types of cave formations on land. You never hear anything about this place. It's called Crystal Geyser. I don't normally tell my spots, but this is Crystal Geyser in Utah. Look at that color. It's an absolute riot of color. Okay, so my gimbal's acting up, and it's like 1,000,000 degrees out here. But this color is just, it's otherworldly. And I hope I can pick this up. Let me turn the screen around on my camera there. Hot enough that my brain isn't working, but this is just so beautiful. In a lot of my videos, I talk about beauty a lot. And I do it for a reason, because there's so much ugliness in the world right now. People are so bitter and they only see the ugliness of the world. Like, this is a natural wonder. Just getting splashed with this much color in the natural world. I mean, how can that not lift your soul a little? The world is a beautiful place. This is one of the driest deserts in the American West. And we have the Green River living up to its name, bright, vibrant green with willows and tamarasks all along the sides with vibrant green. And then you have this rich color along here. Let's go look at some of these bigger travertine ridges. There's so much I want you to see. We'll do drone shots in a minute. When I show you the drone shots, look at that. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm taking off my mic. I'm holding the mic by the ground and listen. I hope you can hear it. Again, these things are hollow. There we go. Hope you can hear that. But again, just absolutely amazing. I feel like we had it parked over there at a guy with a motorhome. So you can make it to the spot with a motorhome. But look at these ridges. Look how breathtakingly, strikingly beautiful this is. Nobody's here. This is not a national park. It's not a national monument. Look, oh jeez. Look at this color. This is unreal. This is absolutely breathtaking. I mean, this is literally a riot of color. Again, I don't normally mention the names of the places, but this is out of the way enough. Crystal Geyser. Check it out. I mean, good heavens. This is just so breathtakingly beautiful. And it's just like out of a fairy world of some kind. It really is. It's so bright here right now. I can't even see the screen, so hopefully, I think I'm on this. Hopefully you can see this behind. It's just like natural steps form. Again, it's just like some magical fairy realm. It's so breathtakingly beautiful. And this is kind of what I want to convey on these videos. I'd like to teach, help people understand how the world works, but I'd also like people to understand just how beautiful this world is. You're always going to find ugliness everywhere, but there's so much beauty in the world as well. Again, this much color, what a gift is it that we can see color. The bulk of animals cannot. And by a twist of fate, we can. We can see this rich, bright color. Your dog can't see this. Bring your dog here, they don't see any of this color. It's just all black and white and gray. And we can see this rich, vibrant, exciting, uplifting, beautiful color. And what a treat it is to have vision at all and to have color vision. I'm in awe. This place, and again, the geyser isn't even going off, and I don't know if it's gonna go off while we're here, and I couldn't care less. Just seeing these active travertine ridges forming literal cave formations out in the open for all the world to see, incredible. absolutely stunning. So I hope you're enjoying seeing these. I'm gonna get some drone shots because you can't do justice with it just on the ground level. Especially without a fisheye lens, you're just kind of bottled in. You're not seeing much of this. And hopefully with a drone shot, you can get some good understanding of how remarkable this place is. This site is incredible. Even without the geyser going off, it's so breathtaking and so geologically significant. This place has been here for millions of years, and then it got plugged up naturally. And then in human history, humans causing damage to the environment reopened it and made something that is once again beautiful. So I bring that up just because, you know, there's always a lot of nuance to how humans interact with the environment. Always is. And we don't like that. We like black and white. We like it to be just like, this is good, this is bad. But it's like, you know what? Everything impacts everything. On the one hand, you could say, well, what are you doing walking around here? You're damaging. We're very careful not to walk on any of the formations. But still, you could be like, humans shouldn't be allowed here at all. But at the same time, well, what is it? It's just a bunch of rocks and minerals. Shouldn't people be allowed to enjoy the beauty? So always remember, if you go to a place like this, be respectful. Don't graffiti. Be careful with where you step and be mindful of that so that you can enjoy the beauty and people in the future can enjoy the beauty as well. So I hope you enjoyed this little whirlwind quick tour of such an incredible, breathtaking site. I know I keep saying beautiful, color, breathtaking. I keep using these words over and over again, but again, unless you see it in person, there's no way to describe it. Again, having driven here with this stark, tan desert that's the color of the clothing I usually wear, and then to boom, suddenly have this rich color. It assaults the eyes and the senses in the best way possible. So that's what I want to encourage people to do, to get out and see the beauty of the world. So always remember that life is a gift. So never stop learning, and never stop exploring. We'll see you next time.